What is up, Overwatch community? My name is Trips, and welcome back to another episode of Watchpoint. We are recording both live and pre-recorded for YouTube, respectively between myself live and Volcha on YouTube's end. So the versions themselves are going to look a little bit different, but otherwise they're pretty much the same show. So first things first, I want to welcome once again Yiska.
First again.
And yeah, you get first again. And Volcha, the lovely editor.
Hi.
So before we get too big into the topics, a couple things I wanted to mention first was on the YouTube end and hopefully soon on the Twitch end, we're going to be doing the background where you see for the live end, the May picture, and for pre-recorded, you should be seeing some live video of gameplay. If you guys want your gameplay there, just feel free to email a copy of obviously the video file to watchpointtv@gmail.com. No underscore, none of that BS, just one word, watchpointtv. And we actually just hit on YouTube 50 subs, so we're halfway to our goal of 100 subs. So if you guys are subbed, please feel free to share with your friends. If you're not, it's completely free to you. You can just hit that sub button. And if we get to 100, we get the youtube.com/watchpointtv, the custom URL instead of all the gibberish. But enough of the the plugging stuff. Let's get into today's topic, which is perspective overall. Now that we have been in open beta, now that we're not just, the people who are above, all the only watch type of people, now that we've actually been able to play with all of our friends, how has the game changed for us? How is the game, do we see it now that we're able to play with everybody and play with a team, full of 6 and things like that? How has the game changed for you, your perspective on the game? Does anybody want to jump in?
Sure. Okay, so the thing was, honestly, towards the end of the closed beta, I kind of got burned out on the game because playing solo queue, especially if you're mostly support, is quite tiring, honestly. Even because nobody's really talking, and if you're solo queuing, you're most of the time meeting 6 stacks or something, so it really wasn't as fun. But it really made me realize and kind of reevaluate the comment the devs always made, which is Overwatch is supposed to be a team game and played in a team, and what better team is there than 5 of your friends and you, right?
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's always been fun to play with you guys or random people online, but it's completely different to play with people you see every day in real life and play other games with or even grew up with, those type of things.
Yeah, and it's also it feels a lot more rewarding to then play supportive roles for these people, because they also able to then react based on these plays, because they're actually talking. The talking, I think I wouldn't mind it as much if the community was to use the voice chat more. And at this point, it's not even on Blizzard anymore, because the voice chat, for the most part, is pretty awesome. It's just a matter of, I guess, confidence, necessity. I guess nobody really feels it right now. And I guess at some point, you also have to figure out language in a way. Just the call-outs, what's necessary. What do we call things on the map? What do we call things in general?
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing, instead of saying over there, that type of thing.
Yeah, these are all huge obstacles to overcome. But yeah, right now it just clicked for me. I think I hit level 41 in the open beta, with the release, and I even had 2 days of downtime where I had to do private stuff. I played all day basically with my friends, and it's not even that big of a deal to rotate if you're 7. It's one game is 10 minutes, so you rotate the other guy in, and then he sits out 10 minutes, and then it's then he gets to play an hour, because it's 6 rounds till he. Yeah, it's not as big of a deal, honestly. Okay, if you're struggling to get 6, that might suck, and also for those that only get 5. There's just this human tendency to rack on the 6th guy, whatever he does. Yeah. And I don't know, I really don't like that dynamic too much. And no, I think 6 stacks is just super fun. Even though, obviously, the thing is, with all these new players, even my friends, it really turned me off from support. in a way, because support is like you're amplifying the strength of your teammates, and obviously if your teammates are new, you're not going to win a lot. Yeah. So basically the entire beta phase I was only playing offense, basically. And I really fell in love with Genji and McCree. So
yeah, I can kind of compound on that fact of during the February through toward like what end of April, that era, I was playing so heavily that I got to, level 60, something like that, and then it was just like, I guess I'll play, like I want to play really badly, but I'm not gonna save any of this, information or like any progression with my character, any of the skins, anything like that. I don't have too many people to play with because people are experiencing the same thing. They're getting burnt out of the game, and most likely thinking the same thing, that they're not just gonna grind for no reason. And all the changes, things like that. But once open beta started, and I was able to just play with my brother and all his friends and blah blah, it was so much easier to get a full group of 6 together and play and coordinate and be calling out shots and things like that, and they made the game 10 times more fun. Whereas in regular beta, I actually did come across some teams where everybody was calling shots, everybody was trying hard, things like that, but it was kind of hit or miss rather than that, and it just made it more fun.
I had some interesting experiences with my friends. A lot of my friends are from like games that they played a very long time, so they're kind of used to like knowing the mechanics intuitively, like this is OP, this is the way to do it. And it's been really funny to see them come from like PlanetSide or TF2 or even like Counter-Strike and just have these instant snap opinions about stuff that are like wrong. And I'm like, haha, no, that's not how it works. Like, Bastion's such a pain in the ass. And like they're so confident in these calls because they've been playing like a game for 10 years straight, and they're used to having that confidence in that platform. And then they come into something brand new, and that confidence carries over, and it's kind of funny and fun. And we've been teasing and ragging on people about that. But overall, I'd say my experience has been very similar to Yiska's, which is got kind of burnt out in the closed beta because it sucks going solo queue. There was even a lot of discussion in the threads on Reddit about how shitty it is to be solo queue, and I think that was like a direct, because it's closed beta and you can't get all your friends into it. And the game totally changed for me when my friends got in, and I got people I could play with every night, and I could play characters now that I didn't feel comfortable doing, like Zarya before. I couldn't really play Zarya in a pub setting. I could do it, but it was really, really tough because she relies on your teammates knowing exactly when you're going to do something. Zenyatta I like to play too, and him, more or less, I need someone to babysit my ass so I don't die. Yeah, so I can play new characters now because I got buddies now that are into the game.
So now after this experience, after playing with more people, getting an actual feel of how the game will feel when live, does it change or not change? Does it get rid of some of your worries? That deep down feeling of, what if this game doesn't do so well? What if it pulls like sorry for people who like the game, but what if it pulls the Heroes of the Storm, where it's supposed to be this next big hit and doesn't, not that it flops, but it has this small cult following and that's about it. Does that get rid of some of those worries for you guys? Does the game actually feel like fun with other people, and other people, not like us where we're super committed and we have podcasts and things like that, but the people who just get on, play a couple games, get off, and then go do their normal lives? Have you heard any objections or people going, wow, I thought that game was, I didn't realize the game was that fun?
I've seen some converts from friends of friends, just all of a sudden through word of mouth over like 8 hours, they get into the beta because their friends are crowing about it, and they get in and they agree. I'm biased like the rest of you, where I'm like, I love the game no matter what, pretty much. I'm kind of a fanboy about it, but I've seen a lot of converts, friends telling friends to get in, and them sticking in through the open beta, and excited for when it comes back, talking in Steam chat about, what we want to try out when it comes back, and just stuff like that. Really exciting stuff. I have no doubts that it's going to be awesome when it goes live and long lasting.
Okay. Exactly, that's the thing. I can easily see myself playing this game 1 year or 2 years with my group of friends, much like I had the feeling when I started playing CS in 2014, basically, or with my friends as a group, and then we played it pretty much till like beginning of this year, non-stop. And that's the feeling I now have about Overwatch, and it's I don't know what it is, but I think there's a little bit more to it than just friends. The game came on, and something felt different. I think a lot of people communicated this too. Mm-hmm. And I really don't know what it is. If they changed the filters, or if it was more smooth, or just the
I mean, my frame rate was very good now. Yeah. Like, I don't know what they've done behind the scenes with that, but I don't know. Like, a lot of the stuff where I'll introduce people at work, like I gave somebody, this kid that I work with, one of my friend codes, and he played it, and he's like, wow, I didn't, you talking about it and you gushing about how much you like the game, and then actually getting my hands on it, it was like he actually felt, that passion a little bit, where he's like, yeah, it is actually a really good game. Not that he's going to play it 600 hours like I will, but, he still liked it. And I can tell my brother, he'll just like text me randomly through the day, or we'll talk about it, or people at work will talk about it sometimes, and they'll be like, talking about the characters and their involvement with each other and different skills, things like that. I actually had a bartender, me and my brother were talking about it at dinner one time, and the bartender was like, oh yeah, Overwatch is out, blah blah. And so it's like becoming this thing where it's not like that game that everybody has kind of heard about behind the curtains anymore. It's starting to reveal itself to be like an actual game, that people are talking about.
I mean, the marketing budget is pretty huge, though, too. Mm-hmm. Like, it's being played during NFL playoffs. Like, I actually saw it on the tram here. Like, we have these little monitors in the tram. It's like, it's on there, right? It's like their marketing budget is huge. And it seemed to have, like, obviously today the news came out with the 9.7 million people playing the open beta. I would have never predicted this. Like, based on the experience I had in the first beta phase, I was like, okay, 3 million is realistic. But now, like, also because how the game shaped up, and obviously I really hope that competitive is going to bring it home, like the rank queue. But yeah. I think this is going to be huge, man.
This is getting up to like World of Warcraft numbers. Like, I mean, obviously these are people just playing the game. Even if 3/4 of those people stick around, the flaky people fall off. If you're at 7 million players, that's ridiculous. Like, that's an amazing number. And how much of those people they'll cannibalize from their other games? The people that still haven't played, still haven't heard of it or whatever. And then it pops up on their launcher, and they're going to continue to, slowly pull other people from their other games. Yeah. But do you see anything down the pipeline? Has anyone else besides our speculation, thought about have you heard anything about any other game modes people are thinking about, or people want, other characters or changes, anything like that? From new people, from people that you've introduced the game?
Most people I've talked to and that are new are just like, the game is awesome, and they're still stuck in that the game is awesome type of sense, and not really thinking about what more they want, because it's kind of fulfilling what they want. I have this one friend who's kind of an elitist type guy. He's really into his skill-based games and really anti blue shell type stuff, and I thought he was gonna not like this game, and after like one round of it was like capture point, and it was a really intense capture point. I said, so what do you think of the game? And he's like, it's good, and that's all he said. And he's been playing more than I could play, and this is his new game to play.
Yeah.
I mean, even capture point is pretty much the worst scenario for this type of guy, right?
Exactly.
It's like, yeah. So maybe there were 2 Winstons in the game. It's like, yeah, okay. You experience the worst Overwatch has to offer for an elitist right now. Yeah.
So one of the biggest things that they did that I don't think, well, not I don't think, I know was not in open beta, that some of the open betas didn't get to experience, or players didn't get to experience, was ranked mode, because they took it out. They just pulled it out the plug and said that they were not happy with it, that they're going to reintroduce it later. Whether it be a few months or a few weeks, maybe a month down the road after launch, no guaranteed date. But do you have any idea of, we've had this discussion before, but what they should do with it? What you like? Is there any other game that's comparable that you feel super strongly that it would work in this game?
Well, I've been saying for a while they should, instead of having a ladder that you rank up, they should just give you 10 placement matches, and out of those 10 placement matches, you get your rank, and then either go up and down from there. That would be ideal.
Yeah. It's like an MMR system rather than like a 1 to 25 ranking, like a Hearthstone system.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is, the current system, like I had this discussion today with a couple of friends, and basically it's not that bad if you think about it, because okay, it's a grind to heroic, but like basically the gold state will always be framed in a different way. For instance, if everyone is able to get to heroic, then it's like, what, you're only 30k heroic, because what it does, when you enter heroic, you get a number, basically the ranking you're at. Now, obviously, if you're on the lower end of heroic, you're just someone that grinded there, right?
Yeah.
And your heroic rating is actually not about playtime. It's strictly about MMR. So it is possible, for instance, if you have a very high win rate, to hit heroic and be instantly top 10 or something, just theoretically, right? In that sense, if you can just say, okay, yeah, you're heroic, but so what? Are you heroic 1k? Are you heroic 100, top 100? And that's like that is then the gold status that you kind of frame in the way, okay, this is an achievement, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, and I've seen very good arguments for this, is it is obviously a little bit grindy, but then what Blizzard usually does, also in this Hearthstone system, is like they do soft resets, where next month, and I guess we have to talk about monthly seasons, but next month you don't have to grind as much. So they reset you to like maybe Master 1 or something like this, right? And it's like, okay, now you don't have to grind that much back into heroic, so you're kind of being rewarded for being active the month before. And what it really does, like these monthly cycles, is, and I think that's a good argument. I'm not 100% sure if it translates that well into Overwatch, but in Hearthstone, it's a huge success story in terms of getting people to play at the beginning of the month, each month, or even the end, to rush to these high rankings.
Do you think that they would reward? Because Hearthstone rewards, if you get to rank 15, you get, golden cards and golden, like a chest to open. Do you think that they're going to do something to that so that it gives you an incentive to grind? Like if you get to, if you get to the second tier, you get a chest. If you get to the third tier, you're going to get 2 chests, something like that at the soft resets of all the seasons.
They stated a couple things about that in interviews, and yeah, they said that they do want to give rewards for getting to different tiers, but they have also said that they don't want the rewards to be the reason why you play. So I imagine the rewards would be pretty light, like a spray or a player icon, something like that. I don't imagine it being outfits or emotes or anything like that.
Yeah, probably not. But what it should be is like more gold, I think. And you can kind of direct your, like if, for instance, Blizzard decided, okay, we have a solo queue and we have a team queue, then if you reward the team queue with 40% more gold rewards, then instantly you're funneling your player base more into these team environments, right? And I think that's the way to go. Just encourage team play. And then, I mean, would it be so bad to have, like, for the absolute top players? Because I thought that was always awesome in WoW. Like, for instance, if someone is in Ironforge and is called Furious Gladiator or something, it's like, wow, dude, like back then you were really good in Arena and were rank 1 on your battle group, for instance. Mm-hmm. Right? And that was, I thought that was always sick. So if you had like the top 10 have like this title or something, that would be awesome in a way. Like maybe not a title, maybe a spray, a cool spray would be just something that's unique, that you can kind of, have bragging rights based on that.
Yeah.
And not just something that, because mathematically, I think you can grind to masters with 42% win rate because of win bonus. Yeah. And then in masters, you basically have to win 0.1% more games than you lose, and you will eventually get into heroic. And that's not really that much of an achievement, right? So if you were just going to reward people, like the highest reward would be hitting heroic, that would feel cheap, I think. And I think they also should do it in a way that they have monthly lists where they announce winners or something. Just something, bragging rights. That just.
Or what about like a live tier list? Like you could just go to a URL and it's automatically updated.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Even have it in the game, and maybe even just have it between
like
your friends
leaderboards
too, even.
in the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
You could even do cool shit like top Genji kills. Obviously, then you would encourage people to play certain heroes. I don't think that I mind that just too much. Yeah.
Most damage blocked is Reinhardt.
Exactly, something like this. Like cool stuff. Just give us a little bit of numbers to look at, and just cool shit to compete in, right?
Yeah. I mean, because you always like to be, not that people are so far away from like I'm main Roadhog or I'm main Reinhardt. Like people say you should have a pool, but it's still cool to be like, oh, I'm top hooker. That's actually going to come out wrong, but my hook accuracy is the highest on Roadhog. I'm number 1 Roadhog, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anything else besides? How do you guys like the tavern? Well, not tavern brawl. It's the weekly brawl. Have you played many of them?
I think I played one. I played what was it? Genji and the Genji and Hanzo one, and it was terrible. Yeah. And then I think I played an all tank one, and that one was pretty good. But other than that, it's not something that appeals to me. You know what? It will from time to time if I'm feeling very drunk, and it's like Saturday night or it's like 3 a.m, and I just want to like be retarded. I'll probably play it. Yeah, but it's not something I'm going to be invested in.
Yeah. I played the one where when you die, you switch characters.
Yeah, I played that one. That one was actually pretty fun. Like
it's fun
just to blow off some steam.
Like the last day of these or the last hours of these is always like people realize that when you die, your ultimate is gone, and now that everyone's like super defensive, and I don't know, it kind of makes it not as fun to play then.
Okay. Some as far as just community news, I know you guys aren't. I don't know how big you guys are on this stuff, but some stuff that I've been seeing: the new animated trailer the new animated short. It's going to be for Genji and Hanzo. So we've seen what so far? We've seen obviously the Winston and Reaper one. We've seen the Omnic, Tracer, and Widowmaker one, and then now it's going to be Genji and Hanzo, and I think they actually said that there might be an appearance by 76 in it. And they've actually announced that they're doing this thing with, I believe it's Coca-Cola actually, where they are taking over theaters throughout the U.S. A couple theaters in a handful of states. I think it's a total of like 10 to 12 theaters, something like that. If they get enough reserved tickets at those theaters. And you can basically go and watch a bunch of gameplay trailers and probably dev blogs and things like that exclusive to that viewing. And the people who go are going to be able to see this Dragons short first. And then obviously they'll release it on their YouTube channel and things like that. I really like all these backstory things. I don't know how much you guys have kept up with them, but they make it fun. They make it cool to show people who don't care about games, but like movies, like cartoons, things like that. I know the very, very first one, the one in the museum, a lot of people like it because it's pretty much a Pixar movie, or a Pixar short.
I remember TF2 when they started releasing the Meet the characters, being really, really excited about them because they were really good. For the time anyways, they were great. And I have that feeling again. Not so much watching the Winston Reaper one, but the Widowmaker one was excellent, and I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see the Genji Hanzo one.
Mhm.
Like I feel like I feel like I went back in time and I'm playing TF2 and like they just released the medic and meet the medic and they're gonna release like someone else next.
Yeah, the only difference is I think the TF2 ones are a little bit more lighthearted and supposed to
Yes.
be like comedic, whereas these ones are kind of serious. Well, dramatic, really, not
Yes.
serious.
Yeah, I think the one thing that always I heard like a producer from Pixar say that basically their movies, if you think about it, like they're kids movies in general, but it's
Mhm.
more like movies where you bring your kid, but there's also the parent there, and he doesn't want to be bored, right? So
Yeah.
this medium really allows to bring all the generations together because the animation's always like, you know, very colorful, and like the action is there, and the kids are all like very excited about this. But then there is this adult, uh, um, I once said adult entertainment. I mean, we have that in Overwatch too. Okay,
Yeah.
but not just this element where you can also put a message for the older audience in there about loss, about uh, possibly feelings that the child wouldn't comprehend at that time. And I very much feel that's also true for Overwatch. Like, for instance, the Widow one was a lot darker than the first one in a sense, right? Okay, so Winston gets kind of banged up, but not really, like nothing too bad happens. But there's still this in the second one with the killing Mandotta and everything. It's like, okay, the kid will be like, oh, shooting and oh, dodging and whatever, but there's this element of loss and, you know, losing someone. I don't know, like that could have been inspirational to your life. For
Yeah.
instance, a lot of people. I mean, this year's crazy as far as, you know, losing influential celebrities goes. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, for me, Robin Williams was pretty huge, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like this is just, you know, not just kids can enjoy these, and the medium allows for that to be true too. And if they were to make a movie out of it, that would basically ring the same bells, I think.
For this is gonna be awkward for the people on YouTube, but for the person asking in chat, the date on the animated short for it being launched online is May 16th, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So May 16, 10 a.m. PT. I know you said you're French, so I don't know how much of that you understood. Unless any do you speak French, Jessica?
No. Well, well, I had French in school. Almost had to repeat a class because of it. So, no, I don't speak French.
Anyways, I think, that's pretty much all we can say about those. Have you guys checked out, I don't know, are you guys big into comic books? Have you checked out they're like 10-page comics?
Yeah, I'm kind of a comic book snob, so I'm not very impressed, and I think
Yeah, they're
kinda
not
like
they're not anything amazing, but they're nice, they're fun.
yeah. I'm not. I'll say I'm not really looking forward to the next few. Like if they pop up and I catch them, I'll catch them. But I'm not like subscribing to any feed, watching Twitter or anything to catch them.
Just the new web comic for Roadhog and Junkrat titled Going Legit is coming. I think it's actually out right now. It is out.
Okay.
The previous ones, Train Hopper was for McCree and Dragon Slayer for Reinhardt. They're decent. They're not amazing. They're just a nice little backstory, a little story from, that person or person's life. And like I said, they're not as good as the animated shorts. They're mediocre, not even at best. They could be better. So besides that, there was something that happened in competitive itself. They did have a couple tournaments during the beta, this little beta weekend. Finishing up, I think it was Overkill Finals. And a lot of things got discussed on the subreddit. A lot of people were crying. A lot of people were pointing fingers. I'm not a professional, so I can't say anything. But anybody?
can I open this with a?
I'm also a
Jew.
fanboy, so I gotta stick with my boys.
Like the problem right now is, like, let's talk about the evidence first. It's like there's a real difference between both spectator and play of the game display, what it looks like. So if there will be very odd snaps in play of the games you see, and you will think they look very unnatural, which is because there are a couple of ticks missing of the guy actually moving his mouse. It's actually a lot more elliptical and not these straight lines.
It's the same thing in like if you're spectating in Counter-Strike, right?
Yes.
Like there's a little bit of a lag time and things like that.
Yeah, and that because of that, they actually in the Overwatch, the anti-cheat system and the community review system and CS, they actually increased the tick rate for that too. So it doesn't look as sketchy, but it's still a little bit off, and it's much worse in the game, in our game Overwatch, and trying to get evidence from that is very, very hard. And I can only recommend every single professional player that has the skills to look illegitimate to have constantly shadow play CV, whatever, running in order to prove that this was natural aim, right? And that goes both for Shofu as well as Temu, right? Those were the two players that were called into question. And I think it's quite weak to have the discussion only based on this evidence. There was obviously a lot of GIFs or GIFs in the thread, also pointing out some stuff. And honestly, like, I totally agree. If that was actually what it looks like, he's two things. He could be one of two things. Either he's the best FPS player that has ever graced this earth, or he's cheating, right? If that was actually the case, these GIFs were taken from first person. They weren't, though. And that's why it looks very strange in a lot of cases.
Mm-hmm.
It's not completely worthless evidence sometimes, because some things, like basically, for instance, if he locks to this, or would lock to the same position every single time, he could pinpoint that every single time he locks onto some specific champion, he now locks onto the chest, like exactly this chest part of Winston every single time, then it could be legit, but I don't really see that happening too much.
Yeah.
Now,
there was this buggy where he was locking onto res, or that's what the videos showed. I mean, to me, that's kind of like, that goes beyond the tick rate and one-to-one discussion. That's kind of like he has a program doing something that's not cooperating with what he wanted to do, and it's becoming evident right there. I mean, I don't think the game could even approximate that with all of the shit they have for prediction in the game, and I don't think anything like that could account for that, in my opinion. You know about the clip I'm talking about? There was he was pointing at someone, and then there was a res, and his pointer kept clicking to the res and then off the character, and then it shot off and killed someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looked pretty damning to me.
Well, at the same time, like, what exactly do you mean? Like the snapping away was?
Well, it looked to me like a program that was having trouble. Adjusting to where the hitbox should be, so it was bugging out, and it was not behaving how we wanted it.
While this is true, that this is basically what it would look like, if you look at the footage, I don't think it actually aims onto the body at all. I think it's like a little bit under the hip, like basically not in the hitbox, where he snaps back to, basically. And a lot of people that have been condemning Shofor have actually gone out to defend Temu, even though they don't have too much in common, like with these people, or have any relationship with them, because Temu has basically done this in a lot of FPS titles. That said, Temu has also been accused of cheating in both TF2, which I don't understand because he was playing medic there, and also in Dirty Bomb. So I don't know. Like the one thing you have to say is, okay, we had this on in another cast, and we basically condemned these players. They were, from Code 7, and we condemned these players that saying that they were for sure cheating, when the evidence for sure for actually doesn't look that much different than what we're currently seeing, right? So if you compare the TJO clips, the TJO clips, like two guys were there, to the ones sure for is currently showing, they look kind of similar, to be honest. And all I'm saying is, if we condemn one and not the other, that's simply favoritism of some kind. And I can see why that's happening, because obviously C9 is a reputable organization. Like, they are winning everything right now. Shore4 is actually the nicest guy probably on that team, which is, this is exactly the kind of person where you would say, oh, really him, dude? Like, he's not a dick at all, right? It's like, he's like on the top 5 of people being dicks in Cloud9. He's not on there, basically, right? So, like, it's kind of, yeah. There's another good argument that came up, and I haven't looked too much into it, but there was a player that frequently played against Shore4, and he said that Shore4, like, his play is so inconsistent that sometimes he goes from insane aim, like best you've ever seen, to pretty shit, honestly, like mediocre. And then for instance, he had this in response to this, he had his stream with a hand cam, right? Now, during that stream, he tried to showcase some aiming stuff, and he couldn't hit a pillar reliably 5 times when locking on. Now, I'm looking at this footage, which is obviously not 100% representative, but then again, like, for instance, this Lucio clip where the Lucio jumps up and down, like, okay, it does look robotic. The problem is that the replay obviously doesn't show us the real thing, but what it does show us is he actually hit every single shot of those, and that Lucio was jumping in a way. It doesn't matter how he hit them, but he hit every single one of them on a speed boosted Lucio in that position while that Lucio was jumping, which is basically an entire body height higher. And it's like, all I'm saying is, if he's completely legit, he has super high peaks and super high, deep lows.
Yeah,
and these are all things that, entirely possible.
I'm kind of I'm not like a really good player, but I identify with that problem. I have like awful nights, and I have like nights where I amaze myself, and I could see I'm trying to put myself in his scenario where I'm like trying to explain away like what I was aiming at and like failing at hitting a pillar. It's different because you're not in a game shooting at people, so you don't have all those neurons firing in your body, like saying
pressure
kill that motherfucker. You're just like, it's a pillar, so you're probably going to miss.
Yes.
So that's something to consider, I guess, as far as that goes.
The question, I guess, the overarching, because we're kind of talking in circles, whether or not he cheated, it's more so that's past, that's whatever, this is beta. Yes, it was a tournament, but it's done. Where should Blizzard step in? Should they? I mean, they did say that they're introducing some guy. He's going to code for an anti-cheat and things like that, which I'm guessing they're going to run in tournaments, especially if they have LANs. Obviously, they're going to monitor computers. But when these instances come up and everybody's jumping on whether it's they're the best, so everybody hates them because they're the best, or something looks fishy, who's going to make the call? Is it going to be Blizzard, or is it going to be the tournament organizers?
Well, we brought this up in the previous cast, and the consensus was it should be Blizzard. I think Yiska said that. I agree with that. I think the problem we're all pretty undecided. Everybody seems to have different opinions if so and so is cheating. What sort of evidence is this and that? And that's endemic. That's Blizzard's problem. That's like a Blizzard problem, not a player problem. Or it's the game doesn't give the players enough information to kind of make that judgment for themselves. And it seems like probably Blizzard's automatic steps aren't gonna cut it, and they never will because automatic cheat programs just don't cut it ever. They do some bit, but they're not going to cover what it 100%. So to me, this discussion shouldn't happen, and because there is this discussion, it's because Blizzard kind of dropped the ball on this. Yes, it should be up to Blizzard to make the call if someone gets banned or not, but they should give players tools to be able to help them police their servers. Currently, there's no way to directly report someone for cheating. If I run into someone I believe is cheating, I have to say they're spamming and then type in like they're cheating. There's no direct way to do that. So yeah, this is 100% on Blizzard why we're having this discussion right now.
Yeah, the thing is, the problem really is that I agree that it's on Blizzard. Like we said before, I'm not 100% sure if Blizzard should only decide based on software, like positive software detection, right? I think it's fair to say that Blizzard could have like very skilled players in their ranks and just knowledgeable people. Even just most of the anti-cheat guys are actually former cheat coders, and they have a very good understanding of what an able could look like. And if they somehow got like a team of experts together with their Q&A most of the time are also very skillful players, to just build sort of like a council that just decides that, okay, we're making the call that this is not natural. And obviously be very, very careful who you're banning. But at the same time, I think that there's no point in ever only trusting a software detection, because honestly, I have a former, I keep saying this, but I have a former friend of mine, and he has had a public cheat out there for CSGO that has been undetected since 2014. Thousands of people are still playing it.
You're gonna get a knock on your door from Steam.
And it's like, dude, like, why is it like we all think VAC, the Valve anti-cheat is sort of like a decent level? No, it really isn't. Like, and even it's not even like, it's been out since 2014. I can play ECA on it with it. ECA is like, they have their own anti-cheat stuff and everything. It's like, it's a public cheat that you can use on ECA. I can download this for free if I'm using German Google, basically. Right. So we're never going to have a foolproof system that only relies on software, and especially in these pro cases, man, we really need like a council of very knowledgeable people that make the call and better be like absolutely amazing at their job.
Why do you think this is something that's kind of questioned. Why do you think cheating is so much bigger in FPS than any other esport, as far as like hacks go?
It has such a big impact. I would say is why. I mean, you can make like scripts that do stuff in like MMOs, but for the most part, it's stuff that you can kind of do with your hands anyways, and you just kind of either too lazy to, or couldn't bother to, or maybe you don't have enough like buttons on your keyboard. For hacks for FPS, it's like poor gameplay. It's like making you better. It's the equivalent of steroids. Just straight up, the comparisons uncanny.
Yeah.
I'm kind of worried. Blizzard hiring this new anti-cheat guy. That I'm worried that's their response, is more software to fix the problem. I'm hoping that they're doing more than just hiring some guy to write some more anti-cheat shit. I'm hoping that they're doing more that we're not privy to, because it needs more counsel on.
I mean, they can't announce a bunch of stuff because that's the same,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that they're doing a bunch of stuff behind the
I
scenes.
think I would have liked like a blue post from Blizzard, like as a response to this, like saying, okay, guys, don't convict anyone based on evidence you've collected from play of the game because it's not perfect. That would have been nice. And then another thing that we have to say, to be fair, like this guy is not the first anti-cheat coder for Blizzard then, or even working on Overwatch. There's actually like a very rudimentary anti-cheat currently running in Overwatch, which is basically what every Battle.net game uses, right? So someone is already doing it. They just want more people doing it, basically, and that's why they're hiring this guy. It's not like they blindly ran into an FPS and like, oh, I guess we've kind of forgot that everyone cheats in FPS, right?
Yeah.
So they were actually aware. They're just stocking up, and I think if you want to have this, legitimate, like just competitive integrity, because this, dude, it fucking sucks that I have to think like, is this the best player, or I guess you could argue, yeah, let's say the best player on the best team, is he actually cheating? Like that fucking sucks, dude. Like that, I don't want my esports to be like this. It's the worst possible scenario.
That is the worst possible scenario.
I just wish people wouldn't jump to that conclusion 100%. Like, if something looks a little off, get a bunch of people together and go, hey, does this look off? Does this look off? Rather than being like, this guy is definitely cheating. Well, like, I have no professional knowledge, but it's the same. It's the mob mentality, the subreddit bullshit.
Well, it looks like for the most part that did happen. I guess through the Discord, it looks like there was a discussion, and specific clips are pointed to as looking. They made like a case file of like, this is fishy. So it looks like there was a discussion, and I used to look for cheats in games and have to police servers, and it looks like they're pretty dead on in finding what looks like crap, looks like bullshit. But yeah, the whole Reddit like piling on and assuming it, I guess that would happen. I guess that's part of bringing it to Reddit, bringing that evidence to Reddit.
It's disgusting in a way, because nobody actually wants to find out the truth, right? Everyone's like out for blood. It's like,
exactly. That's the thing that I have a problem with.
It's like, okay, there's also this added thing of these beta players then. And nobody really wants to acknowledge that these guys are actually, legit. So the next best thing is to like go, yeah, well, he wasn't playing, fairly anyway. So that's the next step. But just dude, it's so like, look at the comments. That the one caster, right, ZP, came out into his defense, basically said what I said at the beginning of this discussion, saying, okay, this is not evidence really, because it's play of the game. It doesn't display the real crosshair movement and everything. He was downvoted the majority of the time of this thread, until like at some point, when the first blood rush mob is over and it kind of drops down from the first spot and the reasonable people get there, it's like then it's slowly started creeping up again, because what happens is basically they downvote till the comment is like at -10. It's like, okay, not going to beat this dead horse. He's dead already. But then reasonable people get there and upvoted to like, I think I saw it at +8, when it should have been the top post, bar none. Not some stupid meme that, like, I don't know about his name, like Sherlock. Fucking hilarious, bro.
Yeah. I feel like the whole thing needed a response from Blizzard, like you said earlier. That would have been preferable to nothing. Even if they said, they have to probably know either way if he is or isn't at this point. I mean, they have they built the game. They know how it works, so they know if like something is not how it should be. You know what I mean? Like they know how the replay system works, and they should have been like, oh yeah, that's just how the replay system works, and said like so in the comments, or said like, actually the replay system is pretty dead on, even though it's not. He's probably hacking. He's been banned. Something should have been come from Blizzard, I feel like.
Yeah, I think they kind of don't want to say with confidence, basically, and I think their response will actually be, and I think a little birdie told me this, that they actually have a functioning replay system. So they have POV demos for their software, and like that would obviously also be one of the best things you can do. Just release POV demos. People can record themselves, like 1-to-1, you know, and then it would just,
like client side demos.
Yeah, just client side demos that record every tick basically, and just to upload this file, whoever doubts it, because what we're doing in Counter-Strike is like every major league requires players to record POV demos, and you punish people for not doing this and not uploading these after the game, just so nobody can question the legitness of the evidence. So, yeah.
I think we said in the previous cast that if there's no response from Blizzard, that like anger is going to get directed from like trying to get Blizzard's attention will be like directed to the players themselves, and that seems to be what happened.
That's the thing, is that do we always need this? Dad, come, say something, make tell them that they're wrong. Do we need that? Because
in this is like the first case that ever happened, so it's kind of like case law where you need like precedent, and there's like no precedent. We're not really sure how the replay system works, so we're kind of like guessing. We're not really sure how spectating works, so we're guessing. So we need that precedent either way. So like going forward, we can like, if you see this bullshit again, we could just be like, oh, that's the replay system, or we'd have some answers to work off of. Apparently we have no answer.
Yeah, I think it will become better or easier for Blizzard to handle, because after a time, these community figures start to emerge, and most of the time they're the voice of reason, and they can sort of like, steer the masses into anti-bullshit land, basically. And like currently, no one has crystallized really. I guess. Well, it's kind of much to ask from him, but like, I guess the most well-known person right now in Overwatch is probably Siegel. So I think he actually went out and said, nah, he's not cheating. I don't think he's cheating. And I think that helped a lot. But then again, like the subreddit really, even though Siegel has like a peak of 15K viewers or something during the open beta, he's still not the apps like a very well-known person on the subreddit. But the older or the longer we have our community, we will have these voices of reason, and then I hope bullshit blows over a little bit quicker,
Yeah. All right. Okay. I think we have talked competitive to death. How well did... I just want to see, besides all the cheating BS, how well did Cloud9 do?
Very well, actually, yeah. They played Reunited. Dude, the meta right now, man. If someone,
2 Winston, 2 Tracer, 2 Lucio on control point.
Yeah, Tracer, or I even saw Double Widow, which is a little more exciting, I guess. But man, if Winston was dropped off a cliff, I wouldn't mind. Like actually, at this point, like I'm about to concede that 2 Winstons is actually a problem, and 1 Winston wouldn't be. Like this is, I'm about to flip flop on this, on the idea of 1 hero limit, because
oh come on, man, don't join the masses.
It's not like just like, okay, maybe it's not a balance issue just yet, and maybe the precedent hasn't been set. It's just so fucking boring, man. I don't know. It's just so fun. Like, I don't know. Like, just the fun argument almost convinced me now.
Just buff Reaper a bit.
Yeah, okay. Or then it's just Reaper, double Winston. It's just, it's even worse, man. I don't know.
Give them time. It's balance, bro. It's balance. They're not Dota. They're not 10 years. Yeah, things need to change. Balances need to be made. But I think that's for another cast. As far as that goes, what are we looking at next? I mean, next week we're still not going to have Next week is going to be the 19th, and then the following week is going to be live. So next week's cast might be a little bit more open-ended. We might come up with something more so unplanned. Some creative stuff like we did with the create a character, unless they release some, before launch. This is our patch notes, that type of thing. But what are we, 12 days? 12 days away from launch, and it's a little bit surreal.
It sucks, dude. It really sucks, man. Like, I can't enjoy any other game. It's unreal. Like, I'm looking at all these games. I'm ready to drop like a $60 game or something. I really don't know what to buy, man.
Yeah.
I got the collector's edition of Overwatch, by the way. So
okay, nice.
I'll be showing off the 76 statue in 2 weeks.
Nice.
I feel like a crack addict that all the crack dried up in the land, and I'm trying to like get my fix from like cigarettes and marijuana. Like that's how I feel with my games right now. Like totally unsatisfied and just wanting my crack.
All right. Drug addict.
I really didn't think this was going to be like this for me, but
no, because like we said, I got burnt out during the first beta phase, and I was like, shit, like I feel bad for people who aren't in beta, and I don't even want to play right now. Like,
yeah.
Dude, it's also like I can't deny that I'm like, being a social person, like this herd mentality. Like when I see people on Twitter like posting all these gifs of like, this, I don't know, like the crying fucking Wolverine that looks like at a picture of Overwatch that's gone or something. I'm like, yeah, everyone's so hyped for Overwatch. Like, it's awesome. Like I'm so hyped too now, and it like enhances my hype. So, like right now, I'm really looking forward to it, and also my friends are looking forward to it again. I was kind of scared because we were playing so much that they would say, okay, I'm not, I'm canceling our pre-order. I'm not going to play, but not. They are all like our TeamSpeak channel right now is dead, which is okay. Coincidentally, it's pretty good with weather in Germany, but like nobody, actually wants to play anything right now. It's like, okay, let's wait till Overwatch, get our real life fix together, so we can nerd out in our basement,
clean our house,
sign the divorce papers prematurely.
Yeah. Send the kids to boarding school.
Stock up on food and water, boys. We're sitting inside for the next week when Overwatch comes out.
What are you guys playing, if anything? I mean, what is there to play?
I'm totally not playing WoW private servers because that's illegal.
Oh, okay. I think I'm playing like Kerbal Space Program. I'm not even in a
I've been playing
FPS
CSGO too, to like keep my FPS aim up. But CSGO is a whole nother level.
Yeah, I played like two matches of CSGO, but I didn't feel it. And then I tried Civilization, and I didn't feel that. And then I tried...
Honestly, playing CSGO, it's weird to not respawn. Like, after playing Overwatch, and you're like, shit, I got sniped by, a Widow. And then you're like, all right, 5 seconds. And then you're like, I'm going to kick that girl's ass.
Yeah.
But playing CSGO, it's just like you get wrecked, and then you sit there for 30 seconds to a minute for the round to end.
That is true. But what feels even more weird for me is like, okay, you can't run while shooting, or shoot while running, so don't do that. It's a completely different type of aiming, basically, unless you only played Widowmaker or McCree, I guess, to a certain extent.
Something I did want to say, though, anyone who plays on console, I really want to know how you feel in the comments, or in the comments of YouTube or Reddit. Let me know, because coming from playing so much on the computer, and I played on my girlfriend's Xbox, it is horrendous, like horrible. The teams don't fill up. No one knows what they're doing. The aiming is so weird, and the powers. I don't know. I didn't like it, but
is Symmetra like a god tier offense character because she auto locks?
Yeah, that's another thing. That's weird.
Imagine the splash-based characters would probably be the strongest in that game.
Pharah. I played Pharah. She was really good. She was wrecking. Because people don't like aim up. People don't get it.
Oh, dude, I don't know. Like, how do you play Tracer?
I don't even. You can't. Unless you turn your sensitivity up to like 1,000,000.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. Like I strictly like I bought the Dark Souls bundle with the Stream controller. I was like, oh, I'm going to play with a controller again. Nope, fucking horseshit. Fuck any controller type, dude. Mouse and keyboard is my type of control. Like it's so much better, so much better. No, nobody like. I'm really struggling to find a game that's better with a controller, and it's probably only fighting games. I can't think of anything else that would be where the keyboard and mouse wouldn't beat controller hands down. Like Dark Souls, people were saying, yeah, well, it's a controller game. No, dude. Like, if you have a proper mouse and keyboard setup, dude, it's so much better. So much better.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Some platformers are better with controllers, but other than that, not really. Have you heard a lot about the Overwatch launch celebration presentation by Coca-Cola? Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier in the cast. Actually, there's no theaters around me that are going to do it, but it sounds pretty cool. I mean, that's cool that honestly that Overwatch is being sponsored by Coca-Cola. That's a huge name.
That's really weird to me, like really weird. I'm used to games like, I mean, why the hell would Coca-Cola? I mean, there's Mountain Dew kind of, but like for most games, I've never heard of Coca-Cola or a name like that wanting to be partnered with them. That's really weird to me.
They sponsored, I think, the Challenger series in League for a while, but yeah, it's actually huge that Coca-Cola is in there. And I think like the way Blizzard is building it up, because also that like they seriously ramped up like their efforts with MLG. They hired some TV like veteran type of guy that leads it now, and like they I think recently they have shown like the new features of MLG TV. I was super excited for that. I hope it doesn't only remain COD, because basically what it is like a normal video stream, and then you have like built into your video players like stats for the FPS games. So like COD, you see the kills and accuracy and whatever. And if like imagine that for Overwatch, dude, like, where you can like see all the stats and just switch around interactively while you're watching the stream, that would be fucking awesome. Like, okay, this Genji has contributed 5,000 damage so far in this game. You really get a feeling of, based on the numbers, that would be awesome if they were to introduce that to.
Yeah, we talked about this, I think, a while ago, that if they don't want to give those numbers in-game, even though that kind of sucks, whatever, but give those stats to the casters and the viewers, because people like to, look at their players and or look at their favorite players. I want to see how accurate Kai is and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And then there's another thing. I don't know. I linked it before, but now you're actually going to be able to watch MLG TV on Facebook or something. Like,
really?
Yeah, they connected this, and that's kind of interesting too, right? That now you're able to watch these esports tournaments on Facebook. I don't know how big it really is. Like, do I really want to, But then again, it's just kind of nice. I don't know.
Yeah. I will turn off links for 1 second.
Let me see.
Unless he's going to send it to us on. Unless he's going to tweet it to us. It's just. It's at watchpointtv if you're just going to tweet it to us.
MLG TV will play a defining role in realizing the full potential of this audience by creating meaningful, memorable, and shareable content. Shareable content also sounds nice. The company has touted results from MLG Counter-Strike, blah, blah, blah. Chris Puckett will be leading the broadcast, I guess.
Yeah. I just copied the link from your blocked link and reposted it myself in chat. I just don't want to turn off the links. I have that there, so I don't know what people are going to post. Yeah, I'm not going to play it right now because I have the live broadcast going. But
yeah,
I will check it out afterwards. I did see the post, but I didn't actually watch the trailer yet. So thank you for the link. I'll check it out. I don't know exactly what they're going to play. Have you guys heard, by the way, of the? Not that I don't watch TV that much, but my parents were actually asking me about it. That TBS is going to have a CS:GO tournament on TV.
Yep, it's the E-League. Yeah, it's the one problem with the E-League is that they don't like the level of teams. Some of the teams are not world class. Let's say this because they had to invite some American teams or
whoa, man. What are you saying?
I mean, I'm just saying that your continent is going to be irrelevant like 5 months into Overwatch. That's what I'm saying. So no, but yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. Obviously, we're having some exclusivity issues currently in CS:GO. I don't know how it will turn out. Hopefully, it just shits the bed and everyone can come over to Overwatch. You know, I'm this kind of douchebag that wishes for the misfortune of others. Yeah. You know, it's really not as fun if other people aren't suffering. You know. So
all right. We're kind of going off on a tangent. We can kind of wrap up here. If you guys have any suggestions, any questions you'd like us to answer next week on the podcast, next week is kind of another dry week because it's not launched yet. I'm going to try to come up with something creative, you know, something like we did in the past, design your own character, but we're not going to do that again. Something like design your own game mode, maybe not, something to that effect. I'm just giving you an idea. But yeah, if you have any questions, just feel free to either email us at watchpointtv@gmail.com or on Twitter, tweet at us. It's at watchpointtv. We're kind of getting Watchpoint TV everywhere, so it's going to be the same thing. Other than that, make sure you guys subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Twitch. It helps us out. It's free for you, and it gives us things like our custom URLs and lets us know that you guys like our content. If you don't like our content on YouTube, feel free to dislike so we know. It gives us an idea. We're always going to be updating. Obviously, we're not professionals yet. We're very much still in our beta phase, but we're doing the best we can.
You're a beta, bro.
Yeah, dude. Extended beta. We're going extended beta. Other than that, make sure you guys check us out on all of our links on the... Let's see if I can get this right. Yep, it's over there. On the... All of our links. I have 3 links because I'm a social media whore. And do you guys have anything coming out, or is it going to be that awkward nobody has something coming out?
I'm actually currently gathering some information to write some. I'm not 100% sure, like, if I want to do team profiles or player profiles.
Yeah.
Whatever would be. I think it's too early for player profiles. Like, people wouldn't care, like aren't invested enough in these characters unless I want to, you know, go full sellout mode and go for the hit piece, like explaining what Siegel had for dinner, basically. If I was to write about Siegel, that would be, I guess, would work. But like, I'm not.
Here's another thing.
Passionate.
We need to get, if anyone, any content creators, anyone on YouTube. Any even like low people, we're low people. Anyone in the community for Overwatch, shoot us an email. We're looking for people to join us on the podcast. If you guys, you know, if you're a content creator or if you consider yourself, if you have a team or something like that, shoot us an email. We'll see what we can do. We're not going to take, you know, a random pub player on, but any content creator basically helping each other out, gaining some recognition. We'd like to get you joined in the conversation. That's something that we'd like to work on. I interrupted you, Jessica. I'm sorry. I just thought of that.
No, that's fine. That's actually fine. If you're... Maybe I can also invite some people. Like, I kind of put it off, and I have some pretty solid guests lined up.
Okay.
Technically, so...
Jeff
You'll
Kaplan?
see, but not really. It's like, okay.
Jeff, shoot me a tweet.
Nice. I mean, if Jeff wants to come on, then
please.
I wouldn't say. We're only allowing people with beards, though. So
yeah, beards only. Jeff, you got to grow it out, man. Vulture, you have anything going on? I know you've been working real hard for us behind the scenes with, templates and things like that. Do you have anything going on in your own personal stuff, though?
No, I'm pretty much dead in the water. Without Overwatch, I have nothing I want to produce, I guess, is the simplest way to say it.
Yeah. I've been focusing on the podcast more so than my personal channel, too. I really need to make another video, but...
I'm probably going to be messing with some, trailers for my channel and some more overlays for my personal Twitch channel. If I do anything, we'll see.
Yeah.
Nothing content-wise that's going to be interesting. Or
Nothing's promised. Nothing's promised. Just keep your eyes out. Make sure you guys help us all out. But other than that, I think we are done for the week. We will see you guys most likely next week, unless somebody has some issue come up. It is going to be a dry week, so come in, chat with us. We'll answer questions in the chat. It's going to be kind of awkward for YouTube viewers. I understand that, but we'll make sure to repeat the questions out loud, or you can always send us questions, like I said earlier. Other than that, guys, thank you once again for joining us for Watchpoint, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.